Here I've got a whole selection of mini EDC scissors, which are great to use when traveling or for your everyday carry. So I've tried to put a range of different budgets and different options for you. I hope you find it useful. What I'll do as well is I'll do a test of all of them. I'll really put them through their paces and see if they're worth it. So stay around to the end and we'll see which ones come out best. Now, starting with Victorinox, we've got some great options here, and I'm just looking at the really small ones. You can go up to a larger Victorinox knife, even up to the Swiss Champ, but I'm just going for some ones that are easy to carry and not too expensive should you lose it if you're going through TSA or other airport security. So here I've got three 58mm Swiss Army knives. First of all, we have the Jetsetter. The great thing about the Jetsetter is that it doesn't have any knives at all, so it's meant to be flight safe. But this has the typical 58mm scissors there. If we get a closer look. And also on the classic SD, either in the Celidor or the Alox version. So the scissors are pretty much the same, and I'll just be testing one of them. Then we have the Swisscard. So I've got two options here. One is the Swisscard Classic. Now this has a small blade in it. It's a tiny blade, but it's enough to make it non-UK legal carry. Plus, it's likely to get taken from you in an airport. Then we have the Swisscard Nail Care. Now the benefit for this is that instead of having that small blade, it has a glass nail file, and then it has these scissors. And they will take a little bit of getting used to, but once you've got used to using them, they work really well. And you can see, compared in size to the 58mm ones, they are slightly larger. So just taking two of these, I'm going to take the Jetsetter, which currently on UK Amazon is £16. On the US Amazon, it's $21. And I'll put links in the description below for all of these. I think all of these can be purchased on Amazon. Not all of them in both the US and the UK though, so you'll have to take a look. So yeah, and this weighs in at 21 grams, the Jetsetter. Then the Swisscard Nail Care, which I have traveled with and managed to not have it taken off me, but I can't guarantee it's going to work everywhere. When I looked when making this video, this cost £31 on UK Amazon and $37 in the US, and it weighs in at 27 grams. Obviously, with both of these, as well as the scissors, you do get other tools, such as on this, you get tweezers, a mini multi-screwdriver, you get a toothpick and a pen, as well as the famous pin from Victorinox. And on the Jetsetter, you get the combi tool, which has a mini Phillips wire bender and cap lifter. Moving away from Victorinox, we have the Fiskars folding scissors. And these cost £12 in the UK or £13 as part of a sewing kit. In the US, they cost $8 and $6 with a sewing kit, which is crazy. So do take a look. I'll put a description in the below the video. These weigh in at 17 grams or 0.6 ounces. So we'll do a test on those shortly. Very similar to the Fiskars, I found these in the UK. I couldn't find them on the US Amazon, although I'm sure there are some similar ones. They don't look quite as well made as the Fiskars. The plastic doesn't feel as good, but they still seem quite snippy. So these are from Hemline, and they cost £4.75, and they weigh in at 14 grams or 0.5 ounces. So we'll give these a test. I think you can find something similar to this, even cheaper, on US Amazon, but you have to buy them in multiples. Next, we have the Kilo. Now, the thing I like about this is it comes in this nice pen format. So it makes it very easy to carry in your sort of work rucksack, or even in a pencil case with other pens. That may mean that it's better to, it may mean that it's less likely to get taken off you if you're traveling with it. When you pull it out, then these are spring-loaded scissors, and again, they seem quite snippy. These ones are from Kilo, although there are other makes available. In the UK, this cost £4.95. I couldn't find them on the US Amazon, but there was something similar called Twiggy, which you could buy for anywhere between $2 and $7. This weighs in at 17 grams or 0.6 ounces. So again, we'll give these a test. And then another cheap alternative is this, which is the Simple Life travel scissors. And what I like about these is that they're in a very small format. They come with this small chain if you wanted to put it on a keychain or with a keychain EDC carry, or just to put it in any kit that you have. It weighs in at 9 grams or 0.3 ounces, and it costs just under £5 in the UK and about $4 in the US. And to open it, you push that up, and then you have this small format scissors. Now, looking at multi-tools, now I wouldn't recommend using these for travel because they're more expensive, but starting with the NexTool Mini Sailor Lite. Now, one of the benefits of this is that it doesn't have a knife, so it's meant to be travel friendly. I wouldn't necessarily rely on that. It weighs in at 68 grams or 2.4 ounces, so it's quite a bit heavier than the other scissors that we've shown. This is a 9-in-1 multi-tool. It has a load of other things. I will do a separate video on this. In the UK, it costs £28 or $22 on Amazon. So you might be able to find it cheaper elsewhere. And in fact, I think I got this for considerably cheaper from AliExpress. So do look on AliExpress. But it's got these scissors. I'm not sure how good they are. I haven't tested them yet, but let's see. What's interesting is that it folds up in quite an unusual way to fold flat. And then you can pull it out and open it up. Anyway, we'll try those with the others. And then finally, I've got the good old Leatherman Micra. Now, this folds up to a really small format, which I like a lot. It comes with some other tools. Now, it weighs in at 49 grams or 1.7 ounces. In the UK, it costs £51, so this is the most expensive. And in the US, it's $50. But it does have these really nice scissors on it. It has some other tools as well, such as a small blade, so it's not going to be great for traveling. There's a small flathead screwdriver, nail file, and nail cleaner, as well as some tweezers and another small flathead screwdriver. And finally, it has, if I can get this out, finally, it has what is another smaller flathead screwdriver and a cap lifter. So we'll give all of these a trial. Now, I've got 3 tests. One is a post-it note because that's fairly standard, so that's my paper test. Then here I've got some paracord, and then finally I've got an old USB cable that doesn't work anymore. So this could be the toughest test, and we'll see how they do. So starting with the 2 Victorinox, and this is the Jetsetter. It has no problems getting through the paper. Similarly, the one from the Nail Care, you can get a decent cut through that. So Victorinox has done pretty well. So staying with this, looking at the paracord cut, these aren't quite big enough to cut straight through, but you get a decent cut. And the ones from, that was the Jetsetter, the ones from the nail care set. This is a little bit harder because it's a bit fiddly holding on to these. I maybe need to be a bit more practiced. I can maybe just do it in 2 snips. Oh, in 1 snip. There we go. Okay, so that they did really well. And then the hardest one, let's try it with some wire here. Yeah, that worked okay. And with this one, yeah, they got through the wire, no problem. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Next, we've got the Fiskars. So these are quite bigger scissors, and you can see that they cut through the paper, no problem. Moving on to the paracord. Yeah, and not quite so well at the end, but they cut through super easy. And as we might expect with the Fiskars, it's cutting through the wire test really well. So the Fiskars did excellently. Now the Hemline, these are the knockoff Fiskars. Let's just try them with some paper. And these are all new, so just to give them a fair comparison, but it's cutting fine through the paper. Looking at the paracord, it cuts through pretty well. Not quite so well at the end, but not bad. Down the bottom, easy. And then finally the wire test. Cuts through that, no problem at all. Next, we have the kilo ones that come in the pen shape. So starting off with the paper, no problem at all. In fact, quite a nice cut. Looking at the paracord, looking at the paracord, no. Complete fail on the paracord. No. And the wire, no, it's not. Oh, just about. I think there's a risk of it breaking the scissors there, and not a good cut at all. So the kilo, great for paper, not so good for paracord. Then we have the little Simple Life ones. So let's try these on some paper. Now these are very small, so you've got to do a lot of snips. So probably harder to get a good straight line in paper if you want, but they do cut well. Looking at paracord, surprisingly well actually. For something so small. Excellent. And then finally the wire test. These have surprised me actually for their size and compactness. I didn't think they would do so well. Great, so they were the Simple Life. So this is the NexTool Mini Sailor Lite. The scissors are very small, so you've got to do a lot of cuts, which means the chances of you getting a straight line are pretty remote. So just trying it on the paracord. You'll have to excuse my dog in the background. Now this is it's a complete fail on the paracord. And as this doesn't have a knife, you're really stuck. And then finally with the wire. Now it works on the wire, but it's really uncomfortable to cut. This is just digs into your hand. So I don't recommend the scissors on the Mini Sailor Lite. And then finally we have the Leatherman Micra. So let's just try it for the cutting. Now, it's easy to get a nice cut on there actually. Great for paper. For the paracord, which is looking a bit mangled from the NexTool. Oh dear. Ah, that is disappointing. With a couple of snips, I can get through it. Ah, what a shame, actually. What a shame. Not neat. It does get through it. But not neat at all. That's very disappointing. And finally, with the wire, I think as you might expect, it cuts through easily. So Leatherman, disappointing on the paracord. So, looking at the final output from this, what are my takeaway points? Well, I think you can't go wrong with a Victorinox. You know, the scissors are renowned. Either the Jetsetter or the nail care fit well in your pocket. I mean, as do any of the 58mm. I would have got exactly the same result for any of them. So I would definitely recommend any of the Victorinox scissors that you find either on a Swisscard, a little bit more fiddly because of the nature of these, but I think that's just a case of just getting used to it and fitting your fingers in, and then I think that will be fine. So they're excellent. Little bit more expensive than some, but certainly as a mid-range price, they're great. Yeah, so looking at these, both the Fiskars, which was more expensive, and the Hemline, which was, well, half the price really. So both of these work well. I think if you want to have one to last, I would go for the Fiskars. Fiskars are renowned for their scissors. You can see the blades look better. I think you've got a better chance of sharpening them. There's a little bit more metal in there as well. It does make them more heavy, but I think the way they fold up, let me just put these away. So it's quite compact. I'd certainly go for the Fiskars. If you've got a little bit more money, I think it's worth it. I think you're going to have something that's going to last longer. If you're at risk, well, if you want to take it on a flight with you and you're at risk of losing it, then I'd take the cheaper ones, okay? Because it's not so much to lose. The added benefit of the Swisscard is that if you do get stopped and you have a security person at the airport that takes a disliking to the scissors, you can always take the scissors out. To replace them, it's about £11 or £12. Now, the Simple Life one, this was quite a revelation actually. For something that was cheap and small, I think you've probably got less chance of this getting taken in an airport as well. If you're looking for some compact scissors to take with you, I'd certainly recommend these. For between $4 and £5 for something that's super light, and well, why not just have that within your pencil case or work bag. It's a great little thing to take. And then we have these heavyweights here. Disappointing, I would say, would be my view on those. And the Kilo, this comes in last really. So for paper, excellent. For anything else, well, I wouldn't want to rely on it. So a nice format, really love the format. If all you're going to cut is paper, then maybe take this. If it's anything more substantial than paper, I wouldn't take this at all. Hope you found this interesting. Why not leave a comment? What sort of scissors do you take with you? Do you even use scissors? I know some of the knife community scorn scissors. I find them really useful, and it's one of the tools I use most when I carry my Midnight Manager. So My Midnight Manager is my 58mm of choice, so it has exactly the same scissors on, but it has all the other tools. Why not check out some of my other videos about this if you're interested? And let me know if you found this interesting, you want to watch more, then please subscribe. Why not check out this video on tools or this playlist on toolkits? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.